Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 24 of Ayodhya Kanda. In the previous chapter, we saw Rama returning from the palace of Kaikeyi after Kaikeyi ordered him on behalf of Dasharatha to go to the forest for 14 years in exile and then the coronation for Bharata. On listening to this with the same mindset, with no depression, with no feeling of any sadness, Rama straightaway came to Queen Kausalya, his mother's home, and he explained her the situation and calmed her and convinced her that he had decided and he is firm on his decision. While Lakshmana was against the decision, he went on to say that a person can always put his exertion instead of simply accepting the things as a fate. Seeing the righteous Ramachandra determined to obey his father, Queen Kaushalya, her eyes filled with tears and her throat choked with emotion, she said, O Rama, you have never experienced hardship, fruit of my womb and the seed of King Dasharatha, you following Dharma have ever spoken sweetly to all. How will you be able to endure living in the forest? He whose servants live on sweetmeats and butter, how will that Rama of mine be able to live on roots and fruit? Who will not feel insecurity knowing King Dasharatha to have banished his illustrious and virtuous son? If he acts thus to such a son, what of myself? If Ramachandra, beloved of all, is compelled to enter the forest, then undoubtedly destiny, that is a past karma, rules over our joys and sorrows. O child, the fire of grief in my heart, fanned by the wind of your absence, fed on lamentation and affliction, stimulated by tears, emitting the smoke of anxiety, will utterly consume and destroy me. Like a forest fire at the end of winter reduces the bushes, creepers, and grass to ashes, O child, as a cow runs after its calf, so shall I follow you wherever you go. Sorry. Rama, listening to the sorrowful speech of Queen Kaushalya, replied, O mother, the king is sorely distressed by the deceit of Kaikeyi, and I also must leave him when I go to the forest. The Maharaja will not survive if you also come with me. No more cruel act can a woman perform than to leave her husband. It is not to be countenanced. As long as my father lives, it is for you to serve him. This eternal dharma must be followed by you, the virtuous Maharani, listening to the advice of Sri Ramachandra. He who overcome difficulties with ease replied submissively to him, O my son, your words are true. Sri Rama then addressed her who was suffering deep distress, saying, O goddess, both you and I must obey my father. He is first my preceptor, secondly my father, thirdly your husband, and finally the protector, master, and lord of us all. Having cheerfully passed 14 years in the forest, I will return and do your bidding. Queen Kaushalya, her eyes brimming with tears, she who did not merit suffering, answered Sri Ramachandra, saying, O my son, how shall I endure dwelling with my rivals? If you are resolved to enter the forest at the command of your father, then like a wild doe, take me with you. She is again repeating the same thing, for which Rama had already convinced her. But again he continues. To his weeping mother, Sri Rama replied, as long as a woman lives, she should consider her husband as her master and her lord. The king is our master. How should we be masterless when the king lives? Bharata, who is virtuous, humble, and devoted to the good of all, he will undoubtedly treat you with respect and not oppose you. When I am gone, let not the king suffer on account of my separation, and let him not be overcome by this great grief. The king is now aged, it becomes you to serve him with every care. Even a virtuous woman devoted to piety and fasting, if negligent towards her consort, comes to the sinner's state. But she who is devoted to her Lord will always attain heaven. In fact, here it's not necessary to think that some heaven or hell is there beyond our death or anything like that. If you just observe, if a woman is happily living with her consort, happily living with her husband, she feels that is her heaven. And if she has any disturbance in their marriage, because of which if she could not able to live properly with her husband, that itself is a real hell for her. Consider, please, from that point of view. The woman who is ever devoted to her husband and ever ready to seek his welfare attains heaven, even if she has not worshipped any god. Service means here Rama is keeping in high accordance the family life far above all those worship to the god, especially for the women, because it is the women folk who make up the family rather than the men of the family. Service of the husband is a duty sanctioned by ancient tradition, by the Veda, and by the scriptural law. O Mother, undertake those rituals promoting universal peace and serve the gods with floral offerings. For my sake, give hospitality to pious and learned Brahmins and await my return. Performing the discipline of daily purification, give up savory foods and existing on simple fare, serve the king. Should the king still be living when I return, truly I wish shall everything will go well. The queen, her eyes suffused with tears, distressed on account of the impending separation from her son, replied to Sri Ramachandra, O child, your resolution to enter the forest being fixed, I have no power to restrain you. O hero, fate is irrevocable. Therefore, enter the forest without anxiety. May you be happy. On my return, my sufferings will cease. O auspicious one, when you return on the fulfillment of your vow, rendering back the debt you owe to your father, my joy will be complete. None can comprehend the wrath of fate. It is fate that urges you to oppose me. O Prince, now depart and return safely, promoting my delight with a pure heart. O child, I pray that you will return soon and that I shall behold you in robes of bark with matted locks. Queen Kausalya, knowing that Ramachandra was eager to enter the forest, reverently gave him her blessings, uttering auspicious words. Thus ended chapter 24 of Ayodhya Kanda in Ramayana. If you observe here, every time, whenever Rama is explaining what is the duty of a woman as a wife, please consider a woman who is living in a happily married life. And at the same time, when we tell a married woman what is her duty, at the same time, there is a duty bound even to the husband also. If the husband is taking a good care of his wife, if the husband is taking all the welfare of his wife, if the husband is ensuring the protection to his wife, and if he is making sure that she lives in a real heaven without being troubled by anybody else, that is more than enough for any woman. Rather than all those riches and wealth, she will make the life of her husband a real heaven. And if anywhere, if there is a faltering on behalf of the husband, as a husband, if he is not fulfilling even a single duty, remember his life will going to be a hell because of his wife. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.